What do you think about AI being used in education?
Well, what I would say is in my case, since I teach younger children, they don't have a lot of exposure to AI. I personally have tried Chat GPT when sort of developing some new lessons just out of curiosity to see what it would, what it would turn up. I wasn't particularly impressed. I thought it was very banal and kind of pedestrian, but it was interesting in that it sort of sparked some additional ideas from which I found a jumping off point. So there was some benefit to that.
I've tested out like ChatGPT and some other AI tools for making teaching supplies. One of the department trainings, actually, they were teaching us how to maybe use AI tools to help speed up some of the menial tasks of a teacher, like making formatted worksheets and things like that. I personally am not a big fan of it. I want more creative control of the things that I create. But I've also used it to get sample responses, sample student responses. So I've asked ChatGPT to answer a prompt and write basically like a learning log, and to kind of see what ChatGPT might think that a student would write in response to a learning log. And I might use that to try to anticipate what students are going to write, which might inform how I run my lesson or how I perform or provide supports for writing those learning logs.
So I have ChatGPT 4.0, which in my opinion is a great advancement compared to 3.5. So it is very helpful at times when I need to like understand, specifically for physics. Physics, there's a lot of components to everything, and ChatGPT 4.0 can really understand these complex concepts. But 3.5 is quite bare bones in my opinion, but it can still be helped to understand concepts that are hard to learn by itself.
Should students be allowed to use AI?
I think as far as using AI in the classroom, it should be used judiciously. I think it can be used as a tool, just as we use many other tools like graphic organizers and helping children, scaffold their assignments. I think for someone who has difficulty generating, information and ideas, it can sort of spur them on to, another opportunity to give them, allow some creativity, but sort of get them started. A lot of kids get stuck and can't sort of get started. This might be a wonderful way for them to do that.
Yeah, so when it comes to students using AI, I think it can be helpful because it provides like a really fast way to kind of like search the web. If you're looking for help understanding some content, some concept, sometimes you can get a lot of supports just by searching the web, but sometimes it can be a pain to try to find something that's actually useful to you. And so sometimes asking ChatGPT will give you a faster result that's the same as just if you were to search it anyway. Some of the pitfalls are sometimes I've tested it out and asked ChatGPT to explain some math ideas. And some of the things that it claims are true are simply not true. And so for math, there's some pitfalls there. It tries to mimic what it sees online, but it'll lose negative signs. It'll change pluses to times, and then you'll end up getting false information. But it can be really helpful for learning like the concepts. If students are using it to like cheat, then obviously like that's not a great use of AI. I think that our assignments should be robust enough that it would be obvious if a student tried to use AI to get past that assignment or to not have to do the work for that assignment. The AI is not going to think for you, so I think our assignment should be robust enough as teachers that AI wouldn't give you any sort of advantage or let you do it. Yeah.
I feel like the use of AI is really helpful, especially as a student. It helps me learn concepts that are hard to understand, math, physics, and it's more of a brainstorming tool than an actual use of cheating, in my opinion.
How has AI and education in general changed as you have grown up?
Yeah, it's wildly different. I mean, the ability of like ChatGPT to create paragraphs on paragraphs and just so much content is really impressive. It's scary how much it's able to write and how much it mostly sounds right. Of course, sometimes it still doesn't. But I don't think that it fundamentally changes, like, it doesn't change how we learn as people, as humans. And that is the goal of education, is for us humans to learn through social interactions with each other. And so AI doesn't fundamentally change that. And so I don't think that it's going to have as much an effect as people tend to think.
The first time I used AI was around the end of 2020, where my brother was working for OpenAI, and he had access to ChatGPT's 3.0 beta. And with that, I was able to use the very raw form of what's known as ChatGPT, which was very basic. But what I first did was I made a letter faking it as my principal, trying to make me sound really cool, and then giving it to my mom. But then I realized my mom isn't stupid, so she realized that it was not real, and she got really mad at me.
So when I was a child, we did everything by hand. I mean, in fact, I don't think I typed a paper, and that was on a traditional typewriter with click, 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 and you had to go back and correct every error until I was probably in junior high school, middle school. So everything was handwritten. We had to write in cursive, and all our research was done by hand. You had to go to the library. You had to look through a drawer of cards to find the books on your topic. And it was very difficult to find material and reference material. And often the librarian was essential in helping you get the information that you needed. And you had to collect all these books and materials. You had to take notes by hand. And then you had to write your report. And then you had to, if you were typing it, type it and edit it and correct it. I mean, it was much more difficult than it is now. I mean, the ability to word process and to find information online is just light years from what I had to do when I was a kid. So again, as the technology evolves, it makes things easier. It makes information much more accessible. I mean, I probably write much better papers now than I did, 50 years ago when I was, in school. But, that's life.